This is a recording from our 30-minute snack room bite-sized learning series focusing on collaborative coaching and feedback to achieving excellence together. In this video, we'll be focusing on understanding feedback, performance, and growth models. Visit our YouTube channel to watch the full video where we cover topics like everyday performance management, maximizing performance through employee engagement, breaking down performance and development coaching, how coaching starts with listening, and best practices for giving and receiving feedback.
Now let's get into a few coaching models. So the first coaching model we're going to look at is a relationship-based feedback model. And this is used when an issue is affecting my relationship with someone. This is a great model to use with a peer or maybe your boss or someone organizationally at a higher level than you in the organization. And it looks like a long model, but I'm going to talk through an example and it really goes pretty quickly, right? So I start with describing the behavior. When you don't show up for a scheduled meeting, and then what's the impact to me? It's a time waster for me. And then what's my feeling? And I feel frustrated or I feel disrespected. And here's the key here. We don't want to pile on. We want to pinpoint, again, one impact, one feeling. We're narrowing the scope, right? Because why am I affected? Because I lose time for other priorities and I'm in a super time crunch these days. And then I'm going to pause. And 99 times out of 100, that person's going to jump in and apologize and take ownership for that behavior. And sometimes we can just leave it at that. Other times we want to move forward and set a new expectation. So going forward, it would really help me to have advance notice because then I won't waste time waiting. So that's really important. Why would this help me, right? Because how would this alleviate the situation of me feeling disrespected? And then what do you think? And have a conversation around that. Now, obviously, this was a very simplistic example, but that's kind of how that relationship feedback flows. Let's move on to a second coaching performance feedback model, and this one is called COIN. And this model can be used on both positive feedback and feedback for improvement. My personal mission, my personal life's mission is to rid the world of the comment negative feedback because I do not think there is such a thing as negative feedback. Do negative situations occur? Absolutely. And when we provide feedback on that situation, we are providing feedback for improvement. So even the term constructive criticism has kind of a negative bend to it. So it's a reframing in our own minds that can help us feel a little less stress around the situation as well when we frame it as feedback for improvement. So this is a simple, straightforward model that we can use to either give positive feedback or feedback for improvement. So we starting in this top right-hand corner with context. With context, we are explaining the purpose of the discussion. Something as simple as, I'd like to give you some feedback on your analysis report. Observation, this is where we pinpoint. This is what is so critically important to name the specific behavior we want to discuss. So instead of making a judgmental comment like your report was sloppy or your report was below expectation, this is specific. I noticed 3 errors in your last report. And then the impact, and this is critically important, and I find the point that is often overlooked or missed. This is the so what factor. And again, we're not going to pile on here. We are going to cite 1 or 2 impacts. When there are errors in your report, it causes your coworkers to have to rework their work, right? To do additional work, and that delays meeting our deadlines. And then the N, which in the coin model sometimes is referred to as a nudge, which I kind of like, because this is where we open the conversation up, right? This is where we ask some open-ended questions to nudge our colleague, whoever we're talking to engage in the conversation. And this is where I like to ask to get their insight. And I might even say that, can you help me understand what's going on here? Help me understand what's going on. I really try to stay away from the why question. Why did your report have errors? Because that causes people to become defensive. And again, we're really trying to make this a two-way dialogue and have a good conversation around it. Again, this model can be used for positive feedback. Positive feedback, research tells us, is at least equally, if not more important than feedback for improvement. All right, one more model. So this is so to me, those first two models are really around feedback, which has a looking back component to it with then a move it forward intention, right? So we're going to talk about the behavior that was good or not so good, and then we're going to talk about how to improve upon that or build upon that. The grow model is really about asking good questions, creating thinking, and listening well. When you're using the grow model of coaching, you as the leader or the coach are really only talking about 20% of the time. And the person you're speaking to is talking about 80% of the time. The point of the grow model is to get that coachee thinking, to help them become more confident. So, quickly, I'm going to talk through these first four components. Goal, questions like, what is your goal for today? What's most important for you to focus on? Reality, what are you not looking at? What have you been avoiding? Tell me about your current situation. How do you feel about that? Options, if you had a choice, what would you do? Let's imagine it's a year from now and you've been successful. What steps did you take? And then that's all a great conversation, but so important to have the way forward. Again, what are we going to do? What are the actions as a result of this conversation? So what could you do as your very first step? What actions need to be taken? And so many great questions around the grow model that can really get you thinking and having different conversations than you've had previously.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out the next Snack Room sneak peek from Achieving Excellence Together, Collaborative Coaching and Feedback, or scan the QR code to watch the full video.